Hey folks, welcome to today's mini booth gathering. It's good to be with you. As I was lighting the candle today, I thought this really matters to me. And not like it doesn't usually, but I felt it in a different way today. And I think that was probably because some of the other things that signal the bright presence of love and God in the world to me at this time of the year aren't around right now. They're not happening because those things often took place with community. They often took place in events and celebrations and special occasions at this time of the year. And sometimes I feel like when the things that signal the good, bright, beautiful presence of God in the world to us aren't there, the signals we do have really matter a lot. And so I was feeling that when I lit the candle today. That reminded me that whether I'm feeling darkness or whether I'm feeling light, bidden or unbidden, God is present. And that's good. That's good news. Darla's going to be along in just a moment with some music. And then after that, we're going to go on two little trips together. One down memory lane, not a geographic location. The other, Italy, much more specific. And they will have something to do with one another. But first, here's Darla.
I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All of my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest nights. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life
Thanks, Darla. I want you for a moment to cast your memory back, way back to the PPE, the pre-pandemic era. See what I did there? Do you remember waiting rooms? You know, those places where people sit too close together and breathe on one another while they're waiting to see someone about whatever. If it's an old school waiting room, there might be magazines in there. These days, there's more likely to be a couple of TV screens showing whatever daytime programming is on. Cooking shows, talk shows, you know, maybe advertising for whatever practitioner we're waiting to see. They tend to be uncomfortable, awkward places. Places where it's hard to know what to do while we're waiting. Advent, which is also a season of waiting, can feel a bit like that. We might have a strong sense of what we're waiting for. We might be clear about why we're waiting, why we've engaged this season. And even then, sometimes it's hard to know what to do while we wait. When our kids were little, there was one waiting room that they didn't mind. It was the one with Lego. I know, it's hard to imagine. Shared Lego, right? A bunch of snotty-nosed, grubby-handed little kids. Not our kids. Our kids are always clean. Noses never ran. But the other kids, you know. Anyway, bunch of kids gathered around this table, handing things to one another. If you need to stop the video for just a moment and kind of, you know, just breathe to down-regulate the stress of imagining that, you just go right ahead. Anyway, in the olden days, they liked that waiting room because even though they knew they were there to see the dentist, they got to make things while they were waiting. And it's almost like they knew something that we could all stand to be reminded of. Let me show you what I mean. I promised a trip down memory lane. That was it. We just did that. So now let's go to Italy for a moment. This is a giant art installation that is the work of Italian sculptor Lorenzo Quinn. Quinn installed this for the Venice Biennale in 2019, so we're now in Venice, Italy. He wanted to symbolize how people can overcome their differences, how we can reach toward one another over whatever it is that divides us. So what we're looking at here are 6 pairs of hands. Each pair represents an essential value. And this is how Lorenzo Quinn, the artist, describes those values. He says, the 6 pairs of hands represent friendship, to build on the future together, wisdom, to make mutually beneficial decisions, help, to cement lasting relationships, faith, to trust in your heart and self-worth, hope, to persevere in worthwhile endeavors, and love, the fundamental purpose for it all. I wanted to show you all that because it seems like a pretty great illustration of something that the kids just seem to know how to enact around the Lego table. In the awkwardness of waiting, it can really help to have something creative and meaningful to do. When somebody asked Jesus to sum up his teachings about how we could have an abundantly meaningful life, the phrase that Jesus chose was, love one another. Not an idea as much as a thing to enact, a way to live, to move through the world. Quinn's installation, one of the things I love about this piece of art is that it's so real. It takes up space in the world the way that we can, if we choose to. And it takes up space in the world enacting or embodying or making real between other people and in time and space, real in the world, these concrete things that are the shape of love. And as Quinn describes it, these are things that we can do. These are meaningful ways that we can reach toward someone else across a perceived divide. We can do that in friendship. We can do it by seeking the wisdom of mutually beneficial decisions. We can do it by offering the sort of help that can build lasting relationships. We can do it as people of faith, understanding that the value that we carry as children of God imbues us with the worth such that we can give gifts like this and also receive them. And we can also offer these things in love and as acts of hope, looking toward a future where the bridges that we build actually draw us toward one another and make it more possible for us to all live in a world in which loving one another is a reality. These are all things that we can do while we wait. There you go. 2 trips. No charge. It's all good. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate being part of a community where we can think about these things, we can pray about, contemplate these things, and where we can practice enacting these things, where we can reach toward one another and learn how to build bridges such that we can reach well beyond this community with those same kinds of actions. Peace to you all. We'll chat again soon. Bye for now.